Pseudocode is a simple way of writing programming code in English. Pseudocode is not actual programming language. It uses short phrases to write code for programs before you actually create it in a specific language. Once you know what the program is about and how it will function, then you can use pseudocode to create statements to achieve the required results for your program. Pseudocode makes creating programs easier. Programs can be complex and long. Preparation is the key. For years, flowcharts were used to map out programs before writing one line of code in a language. However, they were difficult to modify, and with the advancement of programming languages, it was difficult to display all parts of a program with a flowchart. It is challenging to find a mistake without understanding the complete flow of a program. This is where pseudocode becomes more appealing. To use pseudocode, all you do is write what you want your program to say in English. Pseudocode allows you to translate your statements into any language because there are no special commands and it is not standardized. Writing out programs before you code can enable you to better organize and see where you may have left out needed parts in your programs. All you have to do is write it out in your own words in short statements. Let's look at some examples. Let's review an example of pseudocode to create a program to add two numbers together and then display the result. Start program. Enter two numbers, A, B. Add the numbers together. Print sum, end program. Compare that pseudocode to an example of a flowchart to add two numbers. Now let's look at a few more simple examples of pseudocode. Here is a pseudocode to compute the area of a rectangle. Get the length L and width W. Compute the area L times W. Display the area. Now let's look at an example of pseudocode to compute the perimeter of a rectangle. Enter length L. Enter width W. Compute perimeter 2 times L plus 2 times W. Display perimeter of a rectangle. Remember, writing basic pseudocode is not like writing an actual coding language. It cannot be compiled to run like a regular program. Pseudocode can be written how you want, but some companies use specific pseudocode syntax to keep everyone in the company on the same page. Syntax is a set of rules on how to use and organize statements in a programming language. By adhering to specific syntax, everyone in the company can read and understand the flow of a program. This becomes cost-effective, and there is less time spent finding and correcting errors. If you would like a format for using pseudocode to create your program, here are some basic guidelines. First, do not use language-specific commands in your statements. Pseudocode should be universal. So in creating the task list, you would not include commands that are for any specific language like C++, Java, C#, or Perl. The point of pseudocode is to design a program that can be translated into any language. Second, remember to write only one task or statement per line. Make sure you put only one task on each line. Including too much information on one line can be confusing and increases the possibility of errors. Third, make sure to capitalize keywords. Capitalizing keywords like read, write, or display helps to show when an action is occurring or when a specific command or process will be necessary when coding in your specific language. Lastly, indent statements in a loop to better see the flow of your program. Indenting can become your friend. It makes things easier to read and keeps information together, especially when creating loops. For example, create a program to check if a student is passing. A grade of 70 is passing. Enter the grade. If grade is less than 70, display failing. Else, display passing. If you adhere to these 4 simple guidelines, using pseudocode will be very helpful. Although pseudocode is not standardized and you can use any document creating application or software to create it, there are some text editors out there to help you organize your programs. If you're a perpetual procrastinator, you may wait until the last minute to do your work, so that may not leave a lot of time for pseudocode or flowcharts. You can find text editors that support creation using specific programming languages. For instance, some text editors may support Java, while some may support C++. In review, pseudocode is a simple way of writing programming code in English and has become an alternative to flowcharts. There is no standard, and there are no special commands for pseudocode. Instead, it includes the essential information for creating a program, so that the reader understands what the program should do without getting bogged down in the details. Pseudocode is easy to modify and can be written on paper or using a word processing application like Word or Notepad. Some key points to remember are the following. Pseudocode should be universal. Only include one task per line. Capitalize keywords and indent statements in a loop. By using pseudocode, you will save some time finding errors.